Samoa, and welcome to Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 11, Boomtown, where today, once again, I am joined by my brother Caden.
Hello.
And yeah, how did you enjoy the last episodes, the last two episodes, which you weren't here for live, of course?
Very much thoroughly enjoyed them. It was yesterday. I took my lunch to watch them, and oh yeah, just really, I don't know, really good through and through the whole two episodes.
Yep, you've just implied you have an hour and a half lunch break as well, which is what I like.
I didn't, I remembered a lot, but I didn't remember any of the fine details, just kind of the whole brush strokes, or even like the entire character of, I think his name was Jack, right?
Jack Harkness, yeah. Do you like Jack, the pansexual
I do like
time
Jack,
agent?
but I
Yeah,
just didn't even
figured
really
you would.
remember Jack.
Yeah, no, he's a bit different in it, but he is one of the stars of the Torchwood spin-off.
Oh, yeah?
Which is Doctor Who, but what if it was for adults and it had guns? That's Torchwood.
Thoroughly good. It was funny when, at the end, after everything, it did have the worst moments inside of it, being when everything's culminating in Jamie's getting a hug and they're reprogramming, and then Jack comes down and rides the bomb like a horse, like a bull.
I mean, what's wrong with that?
No, there's like this emotional moment, and then he's like, "Hey, doctor, look up here."
Fair. You know what? I kind of wish he had actually taken the time to change into a cowboy outfit, because that's the sort of thing he would do. It's like,
it was surprising though. I don't know, his pseudo death, where he like just kind of fully accepts the death, was a really nice moment, especially, I don't know, for that character. But then to be saved by Doctor and now make his way into this episode, and however he's going to do that, I don't know what's happening in this episode we're about to watch. But I did see the up next, and I am aware that the Slovene are here.
Never watch you're banned from
I didn't watch it because I went to get the remote and turned it off, and I turned it off after. The only thing I saw was the doctor holds up the newspaper and he's like, "Look who it is," and it was that one girl from the Slovene episode. And after like 4 of the most banger episodes in a row, that popped up, and I went, "Oh, Slovene episode."
Okay, it's a good one, right? Much like Father's Day, it's not as good as Father's Day, but much like Father's Day, this is one of the episodes I feel no one talks about, and they should, because it's a good one, right? I think it is.
I maintain that they were 3/4 of the way to having such an incredible episode on the last one. They steered off in a couple of ways, and this is their chance to redeem themselves.
Actually, what I remember, much like the two-parter, the first part of this episode isn't as good, but once you get into like the meat of it, it's a really solid, it's a good character-based episode. So maybe they can't. Look, you want good Slovene? Go watch the Sarah Jane Adventures, which I would recommend anyway. But before we get too much, the next time thing reminded me. I want to talk more about that. I've got a great next time on story with Alex. But first, I want to get through the spiel. That if you don't know what we're doing, it's not just this weird podcast thing that no one watches. We are basically recording an audio commentary track live. For legal reasons, I can't just stream an episode of Doctor Who or the sounds of Doctor Who. So it's bring your own video. As you see, I've got the timestamp, and we'll have some other little things to help you keep synced up. But with Doctor Who, that is a little bit of a problem, because there are 2 versions of every Doctor Who episode. Well, every modern Who episode, but it's a while till we have to worry about that. There is the original UK transmission and the original US transmission, which is 4% roughly slower than the UK transmission. So if you're watching this live, we're going to be watching the US transmission. If you're not watching this live, in the description it'll tell you which one we are doing, and there will be a link to the other one sometime while they're doing the 15th Doctor ones. I'll just be releasing those. I'll do them in like season batches. Yeah, in a little bit we're going to ramble so people can get set up, and just because we want to, and then we'll do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and we'll all hit play on go. There we go.
It's good. You get smoother every time.
Yeah, Alex, we're watching through Star Trek. For a while I started them on TOS, the original, and we're going through basically the order they were released. Well, if you want to know, we're going through the order that my videos tell you to watch. But anyway, they love Spock. Who doesn't? But they love Spock. And assuming you don't care about minor Star Trek spoilers.
Yeah, hit me.
Spock. Well, that's more for the audience. Spock, shows up in some non-original series things. So he's in an episode of like Next Generation. He's probably in a few other things, but that's the important one. And I think we were joking about something. Like we were having an unrelated conversation about a next time on that just completely spoils everything. It's like, next time on Star Trek TNG, it's like, Worf is dead, sir. It's like something like that. And then literally we put in the disc, which, by the way, this is the complete Blu-ray of the Next Generation, the whole series. And it contains an ad for like season 6 of the Next Generation, even though you're watching season 4 and you already own what they are trying to sell you. And the start of the ad is in big letters in an announce voice, Spock is back. And he's like on the screen, and it's going through. It's like, no, stop. Don't listen. That was going to be such a cool moment when they revealed him in the episode. God, and I was like, it's now a running joke for us, which is Spock is back. But why do they do that? Why do they do this sort of thing? It's okay.
Awful.
Like, if I owned season 4 and this was an ad for season 6, okay. It's still like, but very few people will buy the disc, especially for an old show, without watching it. I mean, I do. Mm-hmm. I bought Torchwood and Sarah Jane Adventures without watching it because that's how I wanted to watch it. But, that would be okay. But I own this. And, like, yes, you probably already know what's happening because you own it. But, I was like, why? But really, though, Caden, do keep, like, finger on the button. Keep your remote close for these. Because some of the next time ons, especially for Doctor Who, famously, absolutely ruin episodes. There is a 12th... I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a 12th Doctor two-parter. Where the first part is kind of like a slow build-up, and at the end, there's a massive reveal that, like, a character has come back. And then the second part is a lot of me of the action. And watching Doctor Who, of course, well after it aired, it was, like, amazing. It's a fantastic two-parter. I was like, whoa. If you watch it at the time, that reveal is in the ad. It actually plays... before, like, in the commercial break, before the reveal actually happens as well, if I remember, but also before either episode aired. So people watched it knowing the reveal, knew the character that was in disguise was this returning character. And so when that happened, they realized, oh, now we're where the trailer is. Like, we just caught up to the trailer for this two-parter. And people still go on about how amazing that could have been. It's similar to, every Dalek episode, there are 2 rules. The Daleks have to be a big surprise reveal, and there has to be Dalek in the title. Those are the 2 rules. So there are some big ones.
I don't understand people that are in charge of any sort of like trailer thing.
Yeah.
Whenever it just says everything, biggest.
Well, it's like most people don't care. Actually, after I should show you at some point the trailer for the TV movie of Doctor Who, specifically the one for Fox that they did. Where it was like, in a world, it was literally like announced for, in a world, it is like one man, like, his space time machine, like, gets shot, and hospitalized and dies, but then he regenerates with no memory, and it like goes on for that, literally explaining like the entire plot of the movie. It's like, why would I watch the movie now? Like it's not even really much of like ooh, I want to watch that, like giving you teases. It's literally just the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, what? It's like, it's because most people don't care, but I mean, I haven't even. I'll admit, I'm very big on what I would consider a spoiler. You might be too young to remember, but even when like Gage, Dad, and I would be playing games, our other brother, like I wouldn't want him to even tell me if like a bit they were on ahead of me was good or not, because I consider that a spoiler.
Yeah, I'm big on.
Yeah.
I don't want to know anything.
I haven't even seen like the trailer for the new Doctor Who. I know the titles, and I know some of the big news, like Stephen Moffat, writing an episode. I know there's dinosaurs. There's like a dinosaur episode. That's what I know. There we go. That's all of it. That is everything I know about the next. Oh, and the Beatles. I know the Beatles. I've seen some of the costumes. I'm even proud. We know who the next. We know the next companion, and I'm very proud of myself for avoiding. I haven't seen him. I don't know who it is. I don't know who plays him. Like, good, because I don't want him to walk up in one episode and be like, "Oh yeah, hey, you're gonna." I know where you're going. I know how your story goes. Yeah. Although I did listen to the Goblin song like on repeat forever.
That's so fair.
You haven't heard it yet. Ooh, you get to do it live.
No, I did. I've heard it.
You did? Oh, dang.
Yeah, I went and watched it.
Oh, well, that's all right.
It was good.
Yeah. All right. 12 minutes in. Do you think maybe we should start the episode? I don't know. Let's just postpone it to next week. Let's do 3 episodes next week. Let's just talk about whatever. Let's put Invasion of the Dinosaurs on. All right.
There are a lot of dinosaur episodes in Doctor Who, now that I think about it.
2.
Well, you got the one that I stopped with.
Yeah.
There's a new dinosaur one, and then there's a dinosaur Invasion of the Dinosaurs.
You can't count the 3rd one yet. It's not out yet.
It will be.
Approximately 900 episodes. Well, no, be fair. It's like 300 stories. Actually, I think it's like 300 or 400 stories. List of Doctor. That's all I had to type, by the way, because I Google list of Doctor Who episodes so much. I like how the Wikipedia layout for all the Doctors goes 11th, 12th, 13th, 15th. They do have a section for the 14th Doctor. They just didn't bother to list it. So yeah, 311 story. Actually, no. 311. So Doctor Who averages 1 dinosaur-themed episode every 100 episodes. So
they got to make that a better ratio.
In like 10, 15 seasons, we can expect a next dinosaur-based episode. I don't even know what you do for like a dinosaur-based episode. It's like... It's probably, there's a race of people who are around at like Dino Time. It's probably about them, but what I've heard the murmurs on the wind that I somehow get despite never reading anything about the new seasons is it's just like in old dinosaur times, but it's like, what do you... Oh, there is a T-Rex in the 12th Doctor's first episode. Remember I showed you that clip?
Yeah.
I don't know if that counts as a dinosaur-based episode, but...
It's got a dinosaur. I'm happy.
That's all you need. Well, there are probably a fair few episodes with dinosaurs. I think the 8th Doctor's got like a pterodactyl. No, that's Torchwood. Has a pterodactyl living in their base. Yeah, I don't think it's ever explained why it's there. Even though it has an origin story.
It's there. I'm happy. Yeah.
That's all you need. That's all you need. I don't know if you would like Torchwood. You would probably actually, you know what you might like? I've never seen them, but it is very adult, Torchwood. I mean, episode 2 is like the sex or alien comes to have sex, and that's the plot. Basically. Alien. Yeah, it's something like that. It's what is it? It's like a cloud that comes to feast on orgasmic energy. That's the plot of the 2nd episode of Torchwood. But that's the level it's kind of operating on early on. But apparently the BBC did kid-friendly edits because it's kind of Doctor Who related. And so you'll have, like, visually nothing has changed. I imagine they might have had to make some cuts, but the characters will have, like, absurd dialogue dubbed over to try and avoid what's actually happening. And it's totally unsuccessful, but apparently absolutely hilarious to, like, try and watch. I need to track those down someday. All right, 16 minutes in. Do you think maybe we should start now? You'd have been like a third of the episode if you just watched this.
I suppose the ball must get rolling.
What people could do is they could watch the UK versions of the stream where this is all sped up 4%, and then go back to the American version for the actual episode. All right. Let's get going. Every time I look at that clock on the VLC media player so I can sync up my countdown, and it's like, it's not moving. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. It's okay if we ramble for like 2 hours after the stream. 2 hours before the stream is maybe a bit much. I mean, you probably could have figured out it was a Slovene episode.
Yeah, they got to win me back. They have me, but
well, the second part was good, you know?
It was. That was the reluctance. It was like, why couldn't the first one have been so perfect too?
Yeah, they just tried to do 2 different things, I think, for both the episodes. But they work a lot better in Sarah Jane Adventures because it's a kid's show. The tone can be way more consistent in what the Slovene are built for, you know?
I like the shot.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Wonder who could be speaking. Oh, there we go. Suspense. I've said before, I really like the music in this first season of Doctor Who. I think the first few. I don't know. Alex and I watched The Romans, the classic Doctor Who episode, recently with Nero, actually last night. And she still seems like a better leader than Emperor Nero.
Okay, I was watching the intro yesterday, and I have a question on this.
Okay, yes.
The TARDIS is moving forward in one direction.
Yes.
And it's all blue.
Look,
turns around.
It's the Ninth Doctor. He still can't drive too well.
Oh, yeah. Fumbles around, and it goes blue, but then turns around and goes red. Is it canonical that depending on which direction you're moving in time, space looks different? Is that consistent?
I think it's the time vortex looks different, not space. But yes, that's intentionally done by Russell T Davies.
So which way means which?
Blue is the past and orange is the future. And you can't see it, but the way I checked is I looked at what the thumbnail was on the stream. And every time I make a thumbnail, I have to look at the playlist to check. Hey, this is where Torchwood is set, right there. In fact, I think they might be parked on the secret entrance. Whoops. Oh yeah, but every time I watch the intro, I like to imagine when it does the transition, because the TARDIS stops and the camera catches up, the Doctor just like, oh, I forgot something. I gotta go back. Have you seen Jack?
That was it. They weren't making fun of his ears early in the season, but they were last episode as well. Did I just miss it?
They make fun of his ears and his nose a lot.
Oh,
I mean,
only
it's basically
caught it
transition.
during Empty Child.
If you become the Doctor, you've probably got to make fun of your own appearance, you know? The real reason Christopher Eccleston quit after one season. He's very self-conscious about his nose and his ears. That was almost the intro to the season, is into time and space. Doctor Who! Fun fact I never realized. That's actually the first episode of Doctor Who. It gets stuck. Yep. Still Ricky. That's my favorite explanation, I think, of why the TARDIS doesn't get noticed. There's a sci-fi reason, but this is better.
Jack has such a 80s Top Gun vibe.
Maybe. I mean, I'll have to see how they describe his fashion next episode when he's on a fashion show.
He's on a fashion show?
Yeah. The massive 3 claws through all the bodies.
The curse existing as a recognized phenomenon on a nuclear power plant project, I think is a good sign to cancel it.
I kind of like the implication right here, by the way, that she killed the entire European safety inspection team, and then Europe, the EU, presumably, was just like, we don't need to send another. Approved. Never follow them to a second location. Ooh. Are you still good? My computer did something weird.
Yeah.
Cool. This is a massive bathroom stall. Have they done up the VFX for the Celine since last time? Oh, maybe not.
Why can't the Slovene kill people in the human suits?
Well, they can. They don't have big claws, you know? It's harder.
Just buy like a knife or something.
I mean, that's like saying, why can't the military kill people without guns? Like, they can. It's just, you know, it's a lot harder. Not to change the tune, but now I'm wondering how the Slovene use the bathroom in their human suits while compressed. I imagine the political scandal of like the not prime minister. I don't know who's in charge of Wales. Maybe it is the prime minister, but you know, the Welsh leader, like, orders some massive 5 scaled up toilet. It's like, it leaks out.
Why's it got emotions now? It killed so many people.
Well, their whole family's dead. It was a big, you know, thing. She's alone. Look at all these posh British people who hate this table, but are too nice to say anything. Not nice, they're too proper to go up and say, stop shouting about nudity. And now he's like, God, these assholes. Fun thing, about a scene coming up. Jack's gonna be running down a hallway, and there's gonna be a little trolley, and you can see the gymnastic springboard he uses to jump over the trolley. Keep an eye out.
I can't get Tom Cruise out of my head when I...
Yeah, I think I can see
Cruise.
it. Yeah, you know, I get that. He's like British Tom Cruise, except he actually is American. British Tom Cruise is American. Lord Mayor. There we go.
I don't ever recall Jack overlapping with David Tennant. As far as I know, Jack leaves within an episode or two. I would have assumed Jack left in this episode, but with the fashion show in the next one, I know Jack's around for that. But I really like the dynamic between Jack and Eccleston. Yeah. It's just so good.
You talked over the good joke. Tell her the doctor's here. Just the doctor. I like the Welsh accent when it's understandable. I'd say no offense to the Welsh, but they also know. The Welsh have trouble understanding the thickest of Welsh accents. Oh, here it is. Springboard. There we go. Blink and you missed it. I don't know if you saw it.
That was quick.
Yep. But you can clearly see the springboard. What about a spin-off that's Mickey and Jack?
That would be...
The two actors that have scandals from the season 1 now have their own show. Don't worry. Fuck, what's his face? John Barrowman, Jack's scandal isn't that bad. Actually, you know how we talked for like 16 minutes just about nothing? We could have let the episode play, gotten to this point, and so we've just entered the good part of the episode. And like, you don't need that 16 minutes. Let's walk to this room specifically because it's plot relevant. The more I engage with British culture, the more I like that line. By the way, this riff they're talking about is the setup for the Torchwood series. It's about this rift.
I think it's so funny having someone that understands anything that the Doctor ever says.
My God, a companion who's not from 21st century Earth. It's a miracle. They're never really like the main companions, but yeah, we need more.
It makes it. I mean, I like that it creates this sort of clash because the Doctor is such this like theatrical character and definitely likes the spotlight when it can explain when he can explain anything, and then someone else does it, and there becomes a sort of like almost little rivalry.
Well, Jack's very professional as well, and the Doctor like
Mm-hmm.
flies by the seat of his pants. Yeah. Blinky will miss it. Bad Wolf reference. Do you remember why?
No, I don't remember anything about Bad Wolf. For my whole life, it's been this weird mystic presence.
Just this vague notion from your past. It's been following you, but you don't understand why. I don't believe this scene. Raxacorcophallopatorius is such a good name. I genuinely can't believe Rose can't pronounce it. Here we go. This is the part where the episode gets good. I can't remember what happened to the Slovene in Sarah Jane Adventures, but I feel like some of them get arrested. And I think we gloss over that point. Sarah Jane doesn't know. Impressive for something that's not compatible. It's a great look at just because the Doctor usually like sorts the things out and then leave. He doesn't have to deal with the consequences. The season as a whole is pretty good at getting him kind of showing some of the consequences, and especially early on, like we can accept, especially for episodic show, it kind of has to do that. The Doctor has to sort things out, then leave, and it's all better. But it's still important to kind of understand, especially for people who are watching the show, that like the real world is a little more complicated, and you do have to deal with the fallout and stick around. Drinking a pizza, what a date. Just for some reason in my head, it's a really, like, trash pizza. Like, I don't know why that's where my mind goes, but it's like a $2 pizza that they're going out. But they could just be getting nice pizza.
Bad pizza is good pizza.
When I'm vegan, all my pizza's expensive. And you wouldn't get an episode like this with the shorter seasons we get nowadays, too.
Mm. Choose to believe it's actually an island of dogs. Big naked Slovene there. Would she get her skin? I guess they were trying to put it on when they exploded. I want a shit pizza. Seven would. It'd be part of his big plan as well. The whole time he was planning on that dinner. He scheduled it like a year ago. Do they do takeout? In my pocket at all times. Look at those lights. I should go to Cardiff. How about we go to Cardiff? Let's pause the stream. Let's go to Cardiff. I remember that being so weird when I went to university and like living on my own at the time. So I went to the University of Washington where on campus there's a subway that goes down to the SeaTac airport. And so it was always like, because I was saving for a house as well. I was like, I could just right now just go to the airport and just go like literally wherever the hell I wanted. Like I got my passport in the dorm. It's like I could be in Poland in 12 hours if I wanted to be. I like that wall. I'm not thirsty anymore, though.
Yes. Again, I think the Sarah Jane Adventures might gloss over that a bit. I've never actually been to this restaurant. This was a massive ruse.
I think I expected there to be the attempts of like escape, you know, with the restaurant, obviously, like it just happened. But I liked the seed that was planted of, can you even just sit down and eat dinner with me if you're going to kill me? And I hope that they circle back to that, because that's definitely the best chance.
Oh yeah, no, that's
of
this
escape. Yeah,
that's this episode. They just had to, you know. I mean, they had to get that out of the way, and they did it in a fun way, you know. She had to try. I've always loved the delivery of that line. Just instant and, like, so defensive. Like, it's bad for Rose to highlight that, but it's just like, she's lost weight. Yes, she has. Definitely.
See, people in this restaurant, they're scooching away.
Well, this is where a politician frequents. They're all talking about this. They're getting ideas with the soup thing. I'll say I remembered the balance of this episode being a little more towards Margaret and the Doctor, but I mean, yeah, he's just right.
Yeah.
And she, like, actively doesn't want him in the TARDIS. I mean, the answer is yes. This is one of the reasons I don't like Rose as much. Like, yes. I mean, they do a great job of describing the Time War without doing it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I also hear 7 in there again. But it's very 9. That's definitely echoing the mayor of Cardiff talking about how much he kills people.
Begging for my life. Shush, give me a second.
Well, she is the mayor of Cardiff. As we've established, the British government doesn't really care too much about Cardiff. I mean, they're both kind of unreasonable. Like, Mickey's in the better position here, but... Alright, people of Cardiff, I've got bad news for you. BBC production of Doctor Who has moved to your city. This thing's gonna happen a lot. Just wait till they start making Torchwood, Cardiff. You gotta get used to this. You know, I never noticed that, but Jack knows enough about the TARDIS to, like, work on it. Like, that's that's impressive.
Yeah.
Even as a time agent, like, the TARDIS is just insane levels of technology. Like, what Jack uses, his vortex manipulator, is often described as, like, cheap and nasty baby's first time travel. Like, they barely know what they're doing. What a line. Now, see, the Doctor's still in charge. Jack knows it. Oops. Silver Surfer origin story. I want fan art of this, like Margaret Celine surfing the cosmos.
It is a remarkable turn of events.
It would. I'm always impressed at their just acting, just looking at that light for as long as they do, unblinking. She must be blind now. Notice how hard that thud was. I'm gonna come back to that.
The TARDIS sure explodes a lot, always.
The TARDIS explodes a lot?
Yeah, just, you know, little sparks here and there that, you know, if my car did that, I think I'd have a heart attack.
Your car's not this old. If your car worked at this age, it'd be a miracle. I mean, I think it's a nice shot of Jack Harkness's ass there, but... There we go. Okay, it was kind of low in the suit. Wouldn't it be hilarious, though, if you pull it out and it was cracked because of that hard fall? Russell, how do I make the egg look alien? I got it. I got some gummy. He's like, eating his gummy worms. Russell, you're a genius. God damn, that's why we hired you for Doctor Who. Come back in 20 years. We'll do it again. Dinosaurs, Russell, dinos. The real reason he's back. He didn't get a chance to write Invasion of the Dinosaurs. I've got Jack now. And I'm about to have David Tennant. She knows.
Oh, yeah. She can feel it.
There is EU about her. I think she might even be in some Big Finish. I don't remember what she does. I think she sometimes kind of remembers her old life. And look, I'm prepared, Caden. I know. Bam. No next time on. None of these nonsense you give with next time on. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I like that Doctor kind of caves in giving her a second chance, and then she breaks that shows that there's absolutely no reason to give her that chance, and then he gives it to her. Anyways, when she's a little egg.
I don't think the Doctor caves. I think he genuinely believes that, like, he doesn't have anything to fear, or more, I think maybe there's an element of, like, he needs to prove to himself, especially after the Time War and everything, that he is in the right. But I think it's just like, I'm confident in what I do, with a mix of that, you know?
Yeah. I think I like the... Really, the latter half was more, I like that she betrays them, and then he's like, yeah, okay.
No, that's important. I mean...
Because he could have just, like, put her in a pan and, like, made breakfast.
It's funny. That's an automatic you're not a good doctor moment. No matter what you've done around that. Like, even 7 wouldn't go that far. Maybe 1 in, like, the first Doctor in season 1 before they've really written the character. That'd be hard to come back from. Oh my god, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I remembered maybe it's because I've seen it so many times. It wasn't quite as good as I remembered. The balance wasn't as heavy on the big parts. But, I mean, it's a very tightly written season that has a lot of good setup, a lot of stuff. That episode was setting up some stuff as well, as long as on top of, like, resolving other things. Yeah, Jack didn't have too much to do. I mean, he was in it, but he was mostly in the TARDIS. That's kind of interesting. I guess he had a lot in the last one.
Yeah.
He did. I will say, though, it's interesting about Jack. You know where he was talking about how he lost 2 years of his memory to the Time Agency. Are you interested in that plot line at all? Like, you have any thoughts on that?
Did they explore it?
No. That is the last you will ever hear of it. Even in Torchwood. No, I was reading up on this. Because I always forget. You go back and rewatch it, and you're like, oh, shit, that doesn't go anywhere. What happened was the original plan was for a Ninth Doctor Season 2 was kind of going to basically be like a Ninth Doctor versus the Time Agency, which is interesting. I kind of wish they'd still done this a bit with David Tennant, because I imagine it, like, the Time Lords are gone, so you've got this massive power vacuum that I assume the Time Agency is trying to fill, but they're not at all ready for it. Like, the Time Lords were bad, but at least they were generally pretty responsible with time. Like, they didn't let the universe fall apart. They were awful and corrupt, but they did know what they were doing, and so I think that could have been really interesting. But the reason they didn't is he was afraid that as kind of the male lead carrying over, he'd distract from David Tennant's Doctor, and like the 10th Doctor would have a hard time establishing himself, which in hindsight we can recognize as probably absolutely would not have happened. Like, it's David Tennant, you know? He's been the Doctor like 3 times now or something. But I'm really surprised is that the spin-offs never do it. Like, I think they mention he's got some missing memories at some point.
Yeah.
But it never goes anywhere in Torchwood either. I think the EU, like the Torchwood audio dramas, do some stuff with that. But yeah, now don't get your hopes up. That doesn't go anywhere.
Oh, that was kind of interesting to me.
No, it's the first time I've been like, man, because I'd never heard anything about, like, season 2 Eccleston. I didn't even know they had plans, because I think the decision to leave was kind of early into production. They definitely had a lot of time to plan for the 10th Doctor. I mean, obviously actually, I don't think they had to rewrite the ending too much. I think it's just now the Doctor dies instead of surviving the next 2-parter. Like, I think that was basically the difference. But I mean, he's closed. He's like the first, despite having 1 season, he's kind of the only Doctor I think you can really go being like, yeah, he's done so much. He's kind of fulfilled his arc, his era. I'm sure you can have more, but it's almost even more fitting that you get rid of the 9th Doctor so that he just starts afresh truly as the Doctor again. Not to say the 9th Doctor isn't, but, you know, this whole season he's struggling with figuring out how to be the Doctor.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the symbolic. I'm ready now. I can be the Doctor again.
Mm-hmm. There was a good moment in the last episode that I missed, the ending of the two-parter when Jamie is embraced and stuff by, I don't remember her name. Yeah, whoever Jamie's mom was, and that the Doctor is just sitting there talking to himself like, please let me have this one, let this work. And there's this moment where you can see where it's like, I need this to work.
Because it is. Yeah. I mentioned on the stream, this is the first episode, I've got them in front of me now, just double check, where nobody has died of the modern era. Of course, it happened, in the classics. But since the Time War, even in Rose, like that mechanic guy gets mentioned and he dies. Like, I don't think we see anyone die in Rose, but there are still deaths. This episode's definitely getting limited monetization. But, so it's the first time, and I think even of like his era, I guess technically nobody died this episode, unless you count Margaret. Oh no,
there was the guy in the very beginning.
Yeah, but the Doctor wasn't there for that part, I guess. Like, if you really want to argue, I bet some people died in the Blitz. That would just happen to be going on in the last episode. But, I mean, I think even you could argue that I brought up, did the nanobots save everybody that day? Like, did literally nobody die in the Blitz on that day? I think might be an implication. Because he mentioned that, like, he'll program them to disperse afterwards. Like, humanity isn't just immortal now. That was good, But, it was such a big win for him, especially after, like, everyone was so many people were already lost. Like, he truly just made everything better that day. Yeah. And it was like he got for the first time literally that Doctor's entire life, and honestly the last Doctor's life as well, fighting a time war. He was like happy, basically, like fully.
It was good.
Doing good, yeah, and it's such a big moment for him. It's such a good season 1.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't there something I wanted to show you? It was the ad for the 8th Doctor movie, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to just spoil the movie for it. You know what? You might enjoy that one, because it's not a good movie, but I used to say, I don't know if I'd still maintain this, that it was like the benchmark. If your movie is worse than the Doctor Who movie, it's a bad movie. If it's better, it's a good movie, and it sits right there as the line.
So
but
funny.
it's like you can have fun with it still. You understand enough about Doctor Who from the modern stuff that you could do it. You're not going to be lost. We might, I might add that to the list. I don't think it really has many like bad effects. I mean, it's like 1990 something, it's 97, I think. Yeah. So it's like that's an old effect, but it works. It's an old effect, but it checks out. It might be fun if you want to watch kind of like a bad movie. It's not like so bad, but it's definitely got some weird like.
It's on the line.
It's that middling bad, like it's bad, but it's a fascinating little thing.
It's got character, nobody's perfect.
The 8th Doctor, as anyone who he's a top tier. A lot of people will cite him as their favorite, which is impressive for someone who's got a movie. Like, of course, it's the extended media. He does a great job at Big Finish, and because basically his whole era is Big Finish, and early Big Finish, it means his writing is incredible, and it's not as held back by what they could do on TV or realize.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, I want an 8th Doctor TV show. And I'm like, no, you don't. You don't. You would have liked it if the 8th Doctor audio dramas were an episode of television. But if you get an 8th Doctor TV show, it's not going to be Big Finish. You don't actually want an 8th Doctor TV show. It's just not going to be as good as his early stuff. But he's got a fantastic bit where he talks about shoes. I don't want to spoil it because I'm sure we're watching it now.
Shoes.
Where I'm like, it's one of my favorite Doctor moments. Then I'm like, yes, hello, Doctor. Welcome to you. But it's a weird one because he's like, for the first third of the movie, it's the 7th Doctor. because of course he didn't regenerate. The show got canceled under him.
Mm-hmm.
For the middle third of the movie, it's the 8th Doctor, but he's got regeneration sickness, so he's amnesiac, he's kind of weird, he doesn't really know who he is. He's really only, like, properly the 8th Doctor for the last third of the movie, which isn't great for your main protagonist, you know, that that causes issues. And also, it's Americans. Americans made it. That was a reaction. Americans. It's pretty American. It's got the first Doctor kissing anyone. Actually, I was gonna say companion.
Wow.
It got pointless romantic subplot, which was big back in the day. You know, it's not as big nowadays. I wonder why. But like, yeah. It's I like it. I mean, I like the movie because I got bad taste. I love the Cinderella Amazon movie. That's another good one. You watched that one, yeah?
What?
It's so bad.
Hated that so much.
It's look, the moment when like the king or someone is walking, I don't even remember who, like the prince, and they open a door and there's like a massive empty room behind them. And there's just like a choir on, you know, those like choir benches facing into the door, and they stop walking and like to have a more intense conversation after opening the door for some reason, which is weird. And then I made a joke like, and this is where we keep the choir for the musical in the next scene. And then they have like a 2-minute conversation, and then they enter the room where the choir's been sitting there and they genuinely have a musical. Yes, I'm showing Caden, for those of you on the stream, the Amazon Cinderella movie on my hard drive. Here we go. I could probably find that scene. There, yeah, it's this scene right there. It was so good, except like the ball section, because it's bad. The plot sucks, and the ball is just plot. Which I think we will open on a scene with the prince and the princess where they have their first kiss, and you can tell it's not the first take because the prince has got like lipstick smears on. It's so weird. It's such a bizarre movie, but I highly recommend it to anyone who's in the mood for a bad
I'd like
movie.
blocked this all out. Like
the evil stepmother and sisters aren't even really evil. I don't think. There's a bit where they sing Material Girl. I forgot the fairy godmother, who was probably like the fairy glamorous mother or something. It's genuinely incredible. In the worst possible way, I mean. It's 10 out of 10. But no, like minus 10 out of 10. So it's like looped around, you know what I mean? That's how we should rank movies that are so bad that's good. Is you just put a minus sign in front of your enjoyment. Actually, no, -9. As I said, the ball scene, which is a minority of the movie, is bad because it's just plot. I think we had decided that movie took place in the modern day, but in like some French village that for some reason isn't aware that it's not the Middle Ages, like some sort of military dictatorship or whatever had been going on. Because it's just so... We need to watch it. There's like an April Fool's watch-along or something of this movie that shit. But
I forgot all about the pain that movie caused.
The 4 things in my movie folder are a folder titled Ashes, which have Ashes' 2 movies and then the special one. Better Off Dead, the 1980-something comedy. The Amazon Cinderella, and an edit of Fellowship of the Ring, which is the first half of Fellowship of the Ring, the Lord of the Rings movie, except of all people, the Yogg's cast spent like a year dubbing over it. Did I told you about this?
I heard it from somewhere, yeah.
You should watch that, probably me, because they dubbed over. It's just the Lord of the Rings, but dubbed over, where they did all the sound effects themselves from scratch. You enjoying this? Lord of the Rings, exactly as you imagined.
That's funny.
It's absolutely ruined the Lord of the Rings for me, I might add. You can't watch it. Every scene is just too dang funny. But that's okay. It's look it up. Fellowship of the Ring.
Good spread of movies there, though. Good spread of movies.
They had like a gap in their schedule on like a Wednesday that no one wanted to fill, and 3 of their editors or something were like, I got an idea, and they just let them do it, and it was weird. But yeah, I think I'll probably wrap up the stream. We can talk a bit and plan Invasion of the Dinosaurs watch parties. We got to get you to watch the Christmas special because you've committed. You're all in for 15th Doctor. You've probably seen the best part. No, there's a good part of the Christmas special that's not the club scene or the Goblin song. I won't say you've seen all the best parts. You have seen most of them, but it's still a very good episode, you know. Yeah, we need to get that on the. Just drive now. Get in your car. Drive now. We'll watch them. I will wrap up for the stream. I will say thank you all very much for not watching. Actually, no, I'm not gonna thank you for that, but you know, we know.
Screw you, pal, for not watching.
Oh yeah, you there, not watching the stream. Screw you. You should feel bad. And the people watching the stream, go get in your car and hit the people who aren't watching the stream with your car. Don't do that. Don't hit people with your car for legal reasons. For anecdotal reasons, though, go hit all the. If you see someone who didn't watch the stream, you'll just know. It's like Time Lords. They'll know if they just see each other. They'll know, and they don't really know. Like that's inconsistent, but it's exactly like Time Lords. That's the point. Just hit them with your car. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching, Much, and I'll Much you see next time, Munch.